The downfall of FTX and Alameda Research was in part precipitated by a tweet. This tweet. The full story of this tweet is fascinating, and some parts have just been reported. Let's dive in. In 2019, Binance was one of the very first investors in FTX, incubating it themselves. This partnership was working great until in May of 2021, FTX was applying for a new license for one of their subsidiaries, and Gibraltar needed info on the shareholders. Reportedly, Binance was tight-lipped on the requested details, delaying and possibly preventing FTX from getting that license. This was a problem for FTX, so they came up with a plan. They would purchase the equity back from Binance. However, FTX couldn't afford to purchase it back themselves, and CZ kinda still wanted the exposure to the rapidly growing FTX. So, Alameda Research was used to buy back the equity, and they used FTX token and BUSD totaling $2.1 billion to accomplish that. This detail was only recently reported, first by Forbes, thanks to the spreadsheets that Sam Bankman-Fried was sharing with them to prove he was wealthy, and more reporting from Protos Media, who received the Series B1 documents, and those contained information that suggested Alameda Research was the entity used to buy it. So Alameda Research buys it for $2.1 billion using mostly FTX token and some BUSD. And now CZ still gets exposure to the revenue thanks to the buy and burn mechanic for FTX token, and Binance and CZ no longer need to answer the uncomfortable questions that regulators are asking about them. 2 months after this, Gibraltar approved the request for a license. However, eventually we get back to this tweet. Ian Allison at Coindesk had reported on Alameda Research's balance sheet and showed the huge amount of FTT token and that they were using it for collateral. CZ announces he is selling. Carolyn desperately tries to prevent liquidation. She fails. FTX and Alameda Research go bankrupt and are publicly revealed as a deeply entangled operation that misappropriated billions of dollars in customer funds. This collapse, in part, from earlier deals, and in part because CZ announced he would be selling in this tweet.